So National Suicide Prevention Week is from September 8th to 14th. And yet this entire week I've seen 2 mentions of suicide prevention and awareness online. Just 2. I thought that this week would be a great opportunity for people to share their stories and to start discussions. And after all, according to the World Health Organization, 1 person commits suicide every 40 seconds. That means that just in the time that I've been talking, someone somewhere has decided to end their life. And 800,000 people commit suicide every single year. But there's an estimated 25 suicide attempts for every 1 actual suicide. That means 20 million people attempt suicide every year. Which means that either you or someone you know is guaranteed to be affected by this. It could be your neighbor, your grocer, your barber, or me. Someone I love very much committed suicide this year. And recovering from that is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. I mean, it threw me into a really, really dark period for a really long time. But the real kicker is that even throughout that time, I still managed to keep up this happy, upbeat social media persona of myself. I remember one of my friends messaged me when she was having a really bad day, and she made this comment about how everything in my life goes according to plan and how I always seem to be in control. And it was so ironic, because I had been crying myself to sleep every single night that week. And I know that I'm not alone. I mean, when I found out that it was National Suicide Prevention Week, I reached out to a few different friends to see if they had anything to say on the issue. And every single one of them had either attempted suicide or had helped a friend go through depression or suicidal thoughts. And yet when I asked them if they'd be willing to share their own stories publicly, most of them said they either weren't ready or they weren't comfortable with it. I mean, I understand, because there's so much stigma around suicide and depression. I mean, I can't even name the person I know because it's supposedly a mark of shame or disgrace. But that's not fair. It's not fair to someone who's going through a tough time but feels like they have to pretend that everything's okay. And it's not fair to suicide survivors who are afraid of being judged. And it's not fair to people who are contemplating suicide right now but can't talk about it because it's apparently a sign of weakness. Because it's not. And I'm tired of this silence. So for anyone who is or has ever contemplated suicide, just know that you aren't alone. And I'm really sorry that you're going through this. But please don't do it by yourself. I mean, reach out to your friends or your family, or if you're not comfortable with that, call the suicide hotline. It's 24/7, it's completely free and anonymous. I mean, there isn't a day that goes by where I don't think about what I could have done to prevent that person's suicide. And I may live with that guilt for the rest of my life. But if by sharing the story, even one person out there feels a little less alone, then I think that all of it is worth it. So let's end the silence and the stigma around suicide. I mean, if you're comfortable sharing your story, please do. I mean, if not, share this video, share resources, share statistics, information, whatever it is, just speak up. If you want to share your story but don't want to do it publicly, GiveVenture is opening up an anonymous submission link right here, and we'll be posting these anonymously over the next few days. Please do your part in ending the silence. There's still 2 days left of National Suicide Prevention Week, and maybe together we can help even one person make it through one more day.